What up, y'all? Star Wars Steph here, and we're going to be taking a look at the top 8 deck list from Store Showdown that happened at Tabletop Village. Now, I ran this event. I was the judge for this event, and it was amazing. It was smooth. It was 4 rounds, best of 3, 55 minutes, and our players were playing for, the Mace Windu, and top 4 split a box, and everybody who entered got takedown and about 4 packs. So it was pretty cool. If you're ever in the Seattle area, you're definitely going to want to come on down to Tabletop Village and check us out for Star Wars and many other events as well. Like I said, there was 27 players in the event, and here is a breakdown of the top 8. Now, this is going to be seeding after Swiss, because pretty soon we're going to take a look actually at the bracket and the way that the bracket played out. So yeah, we have 4 Boba Yellows in here, 2 aggro decks, going to be Sabine Green and Leia Red. And then we have 2 Emperor Palpatine decks, actually. And one was a mono green Emperor Palpatine deck. Can't wait to check out that deck list, which I'll be showing you guys all those here in a second. And we had a blue Palp deck. So, yeah, pretty interesting. Here's a breakdown of the top 8 and how it played out. In the 1-8 matchup, it was a Boba Mirror, both on yellow. 4-5 matchup was Boba Yellow versus Palp Green. Yeah, very interesting to take a look at both of those decks. Boba was able to etch that one out on this side of the bracket, and then it was another Boba Mirror, which obviously Boba won again, but this time it was actually the 4 seed that took it, Cameron. So this is your line of victory here for the 4 seed made it to the finals. On this side of the bracket, we have an aggro mirror, Leia versus Sabine. Sabine able to take that one. And then we had a Boba versus a Blue Palp deck, where the Blue Palp deck was able to take that one down. Blue Palp deck had to end up facing said Sabine in the semifinals and was not able to etch it out, as Sabine made it and was the winner of the whole shebang. Shout out to Andre and their deck. We'll be taking a look at their deck list here in a second. First, we're going to take a look at the 8th place deck. We're going to go 8 through 1, so you're going to have to stick around for the whole video to check out the finals, the final players deck list. But yeah, one of the Boba Yellow decks. Notable here is going to be Jabba in the main deck, which is really good just to find your tricks, find your waylays, and your shoot first against the aggro matchups. And also in the sideboard, out of aspect, Overwhelming Barrage. So this is probably to try to combat some of those control matchups. Probably throw that thing in there to try to deal with some of their top end. But nonetheless, this player made it into top 8. Next up, we have top 8 here. My homie Bry Guy. Congratulations, you're being rescued. Love the deck name. Absolutely amazing. Now, this is pretty standard for Boba Yellow. Interesting to see Asteroid Sanctuary in here. I love this card. Super duper good. Throw a shield on a Greedo. Throw a shield on a Swoop Racer. That card can be pretty powerful. Don't have their side deck here. I forgot to add that, but we do have the strafing gunship in the main, which is pretty cool to combat some of those ground units that aggro will throw at you. Yeah, just showing the power of cunning, as 4 Boba Yellows made it into the top 4. Next up, we have our Palp Green player. Now, this was a really cool deck. Yeah, it has pretty heavy top end, so it looks like it's kind of controlling the game as Palp would love to, but we do see quite a few ground units in the that you would play towards the mid to early game. Not too many events here, and so it looks like this deck actually is taking advantage of just playing heavy onto the ground, deal with whatever's there, and then playing heavy into space and having their top end just be super duper strong. So trading a lot probably to control the game. I actually like this deck. I like this deck a lot. Shout out to Caleb on their top 8 finish. Next up is the Leia deck. Now, a couple things to note in here. This looks pretty standard for the most part. 2 Akbars. I mean, that card's just super duper good. It's like a mini bomb when it comes on down, especially in an aggro deck, since you're going to be having a ton of units out there, especially seeing as they're playing 5 1-drop units. And yeah, Got the wedge in the main. I like that a lot, actually, too. And in the sideboard, just a couple of things to try to play in the top end. And Wolf, for example, to play against control. Got two Mace Windows in here to play against control in the top end if they push you that far. A couple of Disabling Fang Fighters, probably for Entrenched and for, what is that other card? Traitorous. Yeah, but congratulations to Kevin, or sorry, yes, Kevin on the top 8 finish. Now headed into the top 4, this is going to be that blue Palp deck. Now this is very interesting take on the deck. Once again, it looks like we're playing a lot of ground units. Obviously, you have all the great removal, but a lot of control, right? The regional governor in the main, just to kind of call out what your opponent's plays are. This is so good if you know what cards are usually going to be in most meta decks, right? That's when this card really shines. So that's pretty cool. Some other notable things in here would be the out of aspect vigilance, but we know how good vigilance is in any control deck that can push it that far, and also the top end of the ships. So this is absolutely insane. This deck was, I think, 58 cards. Off of their deck list, I put this together. And then they said that they forgot one in their side deck, so they had 59, or they only had 9 cards in their side deck. But yeah, 58 card deck. Yeah, this is pretty interesting, especially with this high, heavy top end of about 11 units, 14 units that cost 7 or more. Yeah, looking into the side, real spicy. They have the Spark of Rebellion. Big shout out to Zach on this one. The Mahdi, of course, to trigger off Darth Vader, and the Veers as well to pull off Darth Vader. Yeah, this deck looked pretty sick. A couple things I saw them do was play the Vader into the Death Trooper. Obviously, that's always going to be super amazing. And then entrenching something in space. But yeah, pretty standard blue-green deck besides this heavy top end. In third place, big shout out to Navarro with their Boba Yellow. They were playing the Pirated Starfighter. They said this was probably the first 2 cards to go. This is something that I've kind of figured out myself. This card's really good, but it's just not there yet. Yeah, using it to pick up things like Crafty Smuggler or Fet's Fire Spray is great, but I've resolved that a few times. And yeah, not too good. But just showing, once again, the power of Boba Yellow. A couple of cards to note that make this deck super strong. Bodhi Rook, Cantina Bouncer, and the Cunning. All 3 of those are double aspect cards, and they are probably 3 of the strongest double aspect cards out of the pool that we have, as each aspect does have 3. Looking over at the side deck, we have 2 Spark of Rebellions out of aspect. That's pretty spicy. I love the Bounty Hunter crew in the mirror match, or any match pretty much, especially if they're going to be pushing you to 6 resources, which you can get to, which this deck will. You could grab back Cunning, you can grab back Surprise Strike for the kill, you can grab back an Asteroid Sanctuary, not to mention Bounty Hunter crew has Ambush. So you're going to be shooting into something as well. 2 Cell Block Guards in the main. This is actually interesting too. And not opting for the Gamorrean Guards that we see in other decks, like the 8th place one. Next up is Cam playing Boba Yellow as well. Once again, this deck is super duper interesting. We have the Asteroid Sanctuaries in here as well. Pretty similar to the other deck list that we just looked at. Swoop Racer in the side deck. The card is super duper good against aggro, especially if you can Asteroid Sanctuary onto a Swoop Racer. You're living probably your best life. And then finally, our first place winner. Big shout out to Andre once again, playing Green Bean. Pretty standard here. Incorporating the R2-D2 as a lot of the decks have been lately. Still playing the 3 Dodonna. This deck just looks super consistent, right? I mean, just all pretty much 3 ofs and not too many 2 ofs. Some spicy things in the side deck. We have the U-Wing reinforcements for when you're getting pushed in those control matchups. And yeah, got the Zeb. The Zeb looks pretty interesting. Wondering what they put that in against. Maybe against Mirror or other aggro decks, just to swing a base and also take care of units. It's pretty good. But thanks everybody for watching. Hope you're doing good at your store showdowns. And until next time, peace.